Good morning and welcome to Schnozzcast. Turn off that sound. Right, let's try this
I don't
again.
know why I was doing that.
Ready? Hold on a second. Hey, good morning and welcome to Schnozzcast episode 81 for Monday.
Is it Monday already?
It's Monday.
Oh my
it is
God.
July 13th, 2020. We tried our best to start on a Sunday. Well, look, we all rise together or we all fall together. Am I right?
I'm gonna
Am I
go.
right?
I'm gonna go with the latter.
Guys,
That's the TV.
The TV. What is going on?
I don't know.
Cory,
I'm not controlling the TV.
you're hooked up to it.
I'm not controlling
Oh, it's
it.
like I'm saying hello to myself.
Cory, the TV's
You know what?
on mute. This is you, buddy.
Oh, Jesus.
Where's the sound even coming from?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
This is Bob in the future talking to Bob in the past. Say hi, Bob.
Now where's it coming from?
Your phone.
I'm not controlling the TV.
My phone was turned down. That wasn't. That was his.
Oh, God.
That was his. That was his. Somehow this turned itself back on.
All right, here. So just hold on for a second.
We got it.
Do we?
Good morning and welcome to Schnozzcast episode 81 for Monday, July 13th, 2020.
The 12th.
It's the 13th, motherfucker. It's the 13th. This is Bob. Thank you very much for sticking with us. And if you're in the future, hello. Hopefully the world is awesome in the future. And to my left,
Okay.
the expectorating Mr. Nicholas Bader.
Good evening, everyone.
And to his immediate front, Mr. Cory Slesky.
Oh, hey.
Cory is never near my front.
Well,
Only when you ask politely.
there we go. There it is. So hopefully everybody out there in Schnozzcast land, copyright Bob Rankin 2020, is doing well. Hopefully had a good weekend, and you are staying awake very, very late tonight to have one last chuckle at a couple of jackasses. Sorry, a trio of jackasses. Before you got to work on Monday. Gentlemen, how are you?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah?
Good now, I think.
Yeah, let's hope we got all the kinks out of our system. Oh.
Well played.
Missed out there, but okay.
So, inside joke, Nick had a kink song as the sunny afternoon as the
Oh,
on the
gotcha.
Instagram story. Yeah. Hey, so apparently if you want to keep up with Nick Bader's inside jokes, you need to subscribe to the Schnozzcast on Instagram. That's Schnozzcast at Schnozzcast.
You can't
What?
just throw these things out there at me, Bob.
You got to be quick on your feet, Cory.
I got it.
Well,
got
there
it.
you go.
Jesus. I was like,
I recall-
Instagram. Wait a second.
I recall you saying like, "Hey, we need to like."
Yeah, correct. And there was an outline
yeah.
I presented you with, correct?
Yeah. It's
Where
somewhere.
did
It's
that
somewhere.
part fall in the outline?
Well, somewhere between the beginning and the end of the podcast.
More towards the end.
Cory,
Yeah.
for the love of God, press the Instagram button.
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
For those who don't know, the illustrious Mr. Selesky, we kind of, just to retouch on this, we kind of try and divide and conquer when it comes to the Schnozzcast.
Conquer?
But
Are we conquering though?
yeah, for us, we are.
I feel like we're being overwhelmed with a tsunami of new technology every single week.
Yeah, well, we're doing it for the listeners that we will soon have one day. But yeah, so
SD
It's an
cards are a new
investment
concept.
that we hope will pay off.
Bob does the audio. I don't know, for folks that don't know, a while back, Bob has been really great about updating a lot of our hardware and equipment. The Roadcaster, he had a mixer before that he purchased. He purchased the microphones and chairs and all kinds of great stuff.
Are you lumping chairs in with the?
Yeah.
You started with technology and then you threw in chairs.
You did you not buy the chairs?
I'm not sure they're technology necessarily.
Okay. Well, you bought
appreciate
these things
the
to work.
credit,
You
but-
bought the tablecloths. I mean, we would be sitting at card tables with fold-out tables from your house
That is true.
and looking like a bunch of retards. So thankfully, we don't.
Now we just get to sit at black-covered cloth tables and look
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
we're at a banquet or something.
We are. Yeah.
But yeah, I do the artwork and Cory does the video editing, which I think he's really grown in the last several months. He's
also gotten better at the editing.
yeah. So the inside
2 inches.
the inside joke to that was he's got like a mission control setup, and the new thing that he's trying to tackle is when we mention some things, he's able to pull some levers and press some buttons, and things spin across the screen. An Instagram logo does a backflip.
What's that scene from Wizard of Oz where they finally pull the curtain apart and he's just like
Do.
he's like pulling this and pushing that.
Yeah. So
Been too long since I've seen that movie, apparently.
yeah, no, it's scary. Don't watch it. But yeah, so apparently the giant Instagram button he didn't have ready quite at that point in time, but he made it work.
He did.
Where else could you go to find us? Since we're on the social media.
Oh, we're doing that now? Not at the end?
Well, we can wait till the end for the rest. That's fine.
Let's wait to the end because in that time frame between now and then, you'll be talking or Nick will be talking, and I'll have the time to actually find the notes with all the things I can say.
Excellent.
Because otherwise, it just looks like we're running some sort of rinky-dink operation here. We don't know what we're doing.
Glad that's saved in a very important folder.
Yeah,
We don't want to enamor people with content. We just want to tell them how to follow us.
exactly.
That's why
If you enjoy listening to us tell you how to follow us, you can follow us at.
You can hear an audio version of how to follow us at the following address.
Yeah. So
All right.
housekeeping.
Housekeeping. We have a couple of new lights. Nick purchased some freestanding lights, which obviously you can't see, unless Cory's got some sort of crazy way to push a button to turn the camera on.
No, he doesn't.
All right. Yeah, they used to be hanging from the ceiling, but they were, we won't say defective. We'll just say poorly designed. So that's been addressed, and hopefully now we'll be lit from start to finish.
More so than usual.
And speaking of lit, thanks to Cory for coming up with the fireball for this evening.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr.
And-
Schnozzcast.
Yeah.
And the SD card.
And the SD card that saved the day. Exactly.
Well,
No,
So-
he did.
so yeah, in Cory's defense, it wasn't all Cory that stalled us tonight. It was the Rodecaster Pro.
No, it was it's not really housekeeping, but going off on a tangent. Yeah, so my son Jack had his graduation party yesterday. So it's been a week of pulling weeds and stringing lights and laying sod and having my roof redone on the garage and making sure that the caterers had just a host of different things.
You had your roof redone?
Yeah.
No one was in the garage.
People were on top of it,
doesn't
though.
matter. Well, so if you recall, the night before
I must have gotten there really late.
the night before the party, there was a big storm that, quite honestly, we needed the rain. And it turned out to work in our favor because the day of the party then was a little bit cooler, wasn't as humid. It would have been awful if we'd had the weather that we had like 2 days prior.
Yeah.
My garage roof needed to be done last year, to be honest with you. And generally, every time there's a storm or strong winds, there's going to be some shingles in my neighbor's yard that have blown off my garage roof. So it was time to do it. If I had also had to set up for the party and clean up from my decaying garage roof, shingling onto my neighbor's lawn as well as mine, it would have been bad. So
No, that's fine, man.
Yeah.
The shingles on my house have been blowing into my neighbor's yard for years.
No,
So
you
it's
gotta
okay.
take
You
care
just
of that
gotta
shit.
you gotta let the weak ones just go. Because the strong ones will survive.
you like to take a Darwinistic approach to your roof.
Yeah.
Your roof. That's okay.
Yeah.
It was just something that needed to be done. So that was another thing. So it was a long week, and long story short, I did not have a chance to clear out the SD card from past few weeks of podcast recordings, and I went to put it in, and it told me there was 18 minutes left of open space. So I'm like, oh, rather than ask Cory for another SD card, let me
try this one that didn't work.
My old one that never worked before might suddenly work this time, and it did not.
I don't want to say anything, but let me just put this in. It's not made
for this.
Not made for this unit. It always gives me an error message, but I don't want to have to ask Cory for one because he's going to yell at me.
Yep.
Beep. Error message.
Now I'm going to have to ask Cory. Son of a bitch. So painful. So thanks, Cory, for coming through again and letting me format the card and erase whatever family crucial videos you had.
Are now gone and lost forever.
Lost to obscurity.
Luckily, we overshadowed you with our cacophony of misfit phones and laptops and TVs that were playing music.
That's
so
true.
loud.
You did make me look like the genius once we started the podcast.
Come on, guys. Not cool. Thanks, Bob.
But I do love the cockiness of it that he put that old SD card in there and wasn't like, hey.
It wasn't cocky. It was panicky desperation.
The underlying of he put that in there before we started.
No. I started with yours, and when I went to hit record, it didn't work.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I thought.
It says
that
18
froze.
minutes left, and I'm like,
and he said nothing, and he got up quietly, and he went like this.
That's what I'm like.
I thought
this switch,
and he
this
sat here and he went
switch.
like that, and it was like ring, and it like exclamation points. Exclamation points came up on the screen and everything, and he's like,
blood eyelashes not accepted.
Yeah, so for those of you listening, I can't see the Rode mixer.
Thank Christ.
So it was only Nick and Bob that could see what was going on the screen of the mixer. And apparently it was giving some error messages once Bob put in that old shitty SD card.
I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but when we do the podcast, every once in a while, I call it a crabby moment where we've had special guest James Krabby Pappas on the podcast here and then, and he's always had some sage advice for the Schnozzcast.
15-minute meeting.
Yeah, 15-minute meeting might have solved all these problems you guys seem to be running into. And so I'll have that moment where, like, just like now, I'm like, what would Krabby say? He'd probably be like, yeah, people don't give a fuck why you couldn't do the podcast that you're trying to let everybody listen to. They just want to hear you do the podcast.
Well, at least we're giving an explanation of why.
Yeah.
Alan Christensen said it seems pretty sad that Bob was my technology manager.
No. Manager is the operative word there in the title. Technology is in lowercase.
What
letters.
does your job entail? What do you do?
My job?
Yeah.
When I was his manager?
No, just what
right now?
Yeah.
It's computers.
Okay. So technology.
Sure. Yeah. Moving on. Let's just say it is and we'll move on. All right. So how about a little booze news for this week? Does anyone have anything? I've got a couple of them, but
I do not. I was going to look one up at work today and I didn't have a chance to.
You took care of the gentleman's agreement, and for that you get a gold star. So I will shoulder the burden of the booze news and say thank you for watching your movie, which we'll get to in just a short while. So
you are welcome.
For both of you guys. So have you guys heard of the finger on the app game?
The excuse me?
Finger on the app game.
Finger on the ass?
That's a totally different game.
Oh.
I'm sure it's a lot of fun. I'm sure it's ounces of fun.
Ooh.
Oh, you win.
Oh, no.
Game over.
I always win.
Game over.
I always win at this game.
It's like what was the game from South Park?
Rochambeau.
Rochambeau, exactly.
I go first.
As long as you go first, you win. So there was a game that was sponsored by a guy on YouTube whose name is Jimmy Mr. Beast Donaldson. And he put a $25,000 prize
Beast is cool.
on the line. Basically, you download this app, and the app is called Finger on the App, and you have to put your finger on the phone and not move it. And you're competing against all of the other thousands and thousands of, I mean, they could be tens of thousands, they could be millions, I really have no idea, of people who are also doing the same thing. And the last person with their finger on the app wins the prize. If you remove your finger from the phone for any reason, the app registers that and you lose.
So couldn't you use like a stylus and tape it around your phone?
No, because he thought of that. And
he did like you have to use your fingerprint scanner or something?
Not a fingerprint scanner as much as on the screen, there's like a target and every once in a while it would move in like different directions, and you had to trace it with your finger. So you couldn't just like, tape your finger to the phone and then go take a nap.
Right.
Like you had to be awake. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of genius. I get it. So the contest went on for over 70 hours. And originally he wanted one winner to win 25 grand as the prize. But by the time they got down to the 70th hour mark, or 70 plus hours, there were 4 people left who still had it. Now, how they got down to 4 people was another story all on its own. While in that 70 hours, some people figured out a way to trick other people to let go of their phone. And so through the app, I think they were on Twitch. So they're following a Twitch channel, and some people were posting phrases or posting sentences, and they were attention grabbing enough where people who were playing the game would be following the Twitch stream, and they'd go, "What does that say?" And they would read it, and into the sentence they'd built not the word but the sounds that would make the person say the word Siri. And when they did, their phone immediately popped up to the Siri app, and that closed the app, and they lost.
Oh, wow.
And that was it. So there's
pretty impressive.
There's videos out there on the website that sponsored this of people losing when they said that phrase, and then just going nuts, going, "I can't believe I lost. I fell for that." And they had no idea that it was a trick. So down to the last 4 remaining contestants that still had the finger on the app. And after 70 hours, the guy's like, "Okay, that's it. It's been 70 hours. This is kind of crazy. I'm calling it. You all win, and all of you are going to get 20 grand. So rather than 25, you're going to get 20K. But I'm just going to say right now, like, way to go, the 4 of you. You're rock stars. I'm going to give you the money. That's it. You can go ahead and let go of your thing. I've got your IDs, and everything's cool. You are officially a winner." And despite him saying that, they didn't believe him, and they continued to hold on to the app. And with the other hand, send him emails going, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not going to fall for that. And they continued for hours to stay on the phone until he finally had to literally kill the app.
I was going to say, the only way you could take care of that would be shut down the entire app.
Shut down the server, shut down the app, shut down the game, and log them out. Specifically, their IDs, and log them out. And he still followed it up with like, "Hey, I had to log you out. I got your user ID.
So, Cory,
Look, now my phone is dead and I'm back in the home screen, but you're not going to get me again,
Cory,
Mr. Beast."
You know who Mr. Beast is?
I believe he runs a very successful YouTube channel about eating.
No, he doesn't. Not about eating. Unless maybe that's how he started. I don't know. But I know he's extremely rich. He's like in his 20s. And he does a lot of those kind of challenges, but most of them are with his friends.
Oh, I was joking. I was referring to the LA Beast.
No.
Okay.
But like he did one where he purchased a boat, like a 30-foot boat, and he has like reoccurring people on his YouTube channel, which are mostly his friends, again in their 20s, and they all had to get in the water and put their hand on the boat. And they're in this water like up to their chest. And he said, "Okay, this is a brand new boat, just bought it. Last person with their hand on the boat gets it." Yeah. And it goes through the whole thing of the middle of the night, and the waves are lapping up, and everyone's cold and
sleepy.
People are falling asleep. Some people learn how to fall asleep while touching the boat. Like they can have floaties and stuff that like he goes out and he's like, "Anything you want. Any kind of food." So he would go out and get like McDonald's, or someone requested, steak or something. So, and he would just bring it off to the corner.
How are you in a floaty with one hand going to cook and eat steak?
I don't know, but he would do it. And then there was another one he did with, it was like a Intex pool. And he filled it with, I don't know if he filled it with like Orbeez or whatever he filled it with, but they had to, it was water in it as well. And they had to stay in this pool. And the last person to get out, the last person remaining in the pool got like, 40 grand. And all his stuff's like 40 grand, 50 grand, 20 grand. There's another one he went and bought an entire used car dealership stock, all their vehicles. And he said, anyone that comes in here to buy a car, we're going to basically start haggling with them in the other direction. How much money can I give you to take this car?
Yeah.
And the more that they would say, no, I don't, that doesn't make any sense. Because he would say, how much do you think this car is? And they'd say, okay, $20,000. All right, I'll give you $10,000, but that's it to take this car. And they're like, what? No, I don't understand. I don't have $10,000 to buy the car. No. I'm going to give you $10,000 to take this car. So he already purchased all the cars, and he basically just gave them away to people with money. So if you have a chance, watch Mr. Beast's channel. He does a lot of cool things like that.
Yeah, some of the things he's done is to give his mom $100,000 in one of his challenges. He bought a house for his best friend and opened up a pop-up shop where visitors could buy expensive electronics for very, very cheap. But for this particular app, he wanted to make sure that you couldn't just duct tape your hand to the phone and win the game. So he wanted to make sure that the app could have them move their fingers in specific ways that he could control to make sure that they weren't gaming the system. So it was I'd never heard of this guy before. Clearly Nick had, but he's one of those guys I think I'm going to start to follow a little bit because I'm interested to see what he does next. Okay, so to close out Booze News, I do have one thing I wanted to go through the guys, and we'll kind of see how this goes. I have an article here that I thought was really kind of interesting, and I want to read it. I want to read you the kind of the top headlines for it, and so you're going to listen to it, and you're going to tell me if you want me to go into any kind of detail or if you've got any questions. Okay?
Okay.
Otherwise, we're just going to kind of hit through it. So this is something from Reader's Digest called Your Amazing Body. And
thank you.
You were specifically not named.
Grown.
So the precursor for this list of facts is called Science Knows Why. So you tell me if you disagree or you don't understand how they know. Otherwise, we'll just keep on kind of going down the list and we'll just assume that everybody knows that. So Science Knows Why you get goosebumps.
Yes.
Okay, you good with that?
Yeah.
Science knows why you grow wisdom teeth.
I want to say yes, but I'm going to go no.
No, you want to? Okay. Wisdom teeth are actually a third set of molars. They allowed our ancestors to munch on rough foods such as roots, nuts, and meats, especially when other teeth fell out. About 35% of people never develop wisdom teeth, partly because evolution basically dictated that the human jaw is often too small for the wisdom teeth. The rest of us start developing them at age 10, but they don't fully emerge until young adulthood.
Yeah, it was lackluster.
All right. Moving down. Science knows why your fingers and toes wrinkle in water.
I do know that one, yes.
Okay. Science knows why your knees crack after sitting for a long time.
I also know that one.
Science knows why you get a stitch in your side from running.
I do remember that back from high school.
Lactic acid.
Correct.
Okay. The old Few Good Men argument, lactic acidosis.
Yes.
Never seen it.
What?
Continue.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, no.
Science knows why your stomach growls when you're hungry.
Ooh.
I don't know why, but
I don't
sure
either.
Science does.
When the receptors in the stomach walls sense an absence of food, they send out electrical waves. And these waves cause the muscular walls of the stomach to squeeze and release, making a rumbling sound. You may also hear some sloshing as these contractions move water and stomach acid around. Got it?
Again, yeah, I got it. I guess science isn't always in your face and fun.
Fucking science. Science knows why your saliva tastes metallic right before you vomit.
I've never noticed that.
No?
Yeah, I was going to say, I've never experienced that myself.
I just vomit. Yeah.
Usually metal.
Usually right before I vomit, my mouth tastes like Fireball. So.
That'll happen.
All right, there's a lot of detail behind that, so we're going to keep going. Science knows why you see spots after a camera flashes.
I feel like it's got to do with your pupils dilating and
The old rods and cones.
Rods and cones. Let's leave it at that. Science knows why you sneeze when you look up at the sun.
I don't know why that.
Yeah.
Photic sneeze reflex, sometimes called sun sneeze, is the name of this very peculiar phenomenon. The optic nerve, which senses a change in light, is very close to the trigeminal nerve, which controls a sneeze. When you look up at the sun, or for that matter, when you step out of a dark room into bright light, whether it's artificial or natural, your optic nerve constricts your pupils. Your trigeminal nerve may get the sensation that there's an irritation in the nose, which triggers a sneeze.
Again, makes sense. Makes plenty of sense.
This is the Schnozzcast.
I'm not just like
educating you on science. Science knows why you get a Charlie horse.
Yeah, dehydration.
Science knows why you get that stomach in your throat feeling on a roller coaster.
Because your body's going down, your organs are going up. Duh.
Cory Science Selesky. Oh, no, we don't want to do that one.
Is it about poop? Is it about poop?
No, it is not. Okay, hold on.
Is it about your period?
We've been doing this for over a year. There's no way I'm skipping by a poop-related science.
I would hope not. I would hope not. But
science knows why you have an almost entirely new skeleton every 10 years.
No.
Old bone cells are constantly being replaced by new ones, a process called remodeling. This helps repair damage to the skeleton and prevents the accumulation of too much old bone. You don't want too much old bone.
of course not.
Ugh.
Which can become brittle and break more easily.
You always say that you're brittle and old.
I was going to say easy on the arm there, Bob.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Don't snap it.
I felt the crack.
No, it's constantly regenerating itself.
Science knows why you blink constantly. No, that's kind of disgusting. Let's move on. Science knows why you shiver when you're cold.
Because you're cold.
Yeah, because your body is trying to force your muscles into a spasm, which in result makes you warmer.
That is correct. Nick, hot shit Bader. All right, so the last section of this, before we bring it to a close, is the science is still trying to explain section. So this is the shit that science doesn't really know yet.
Okay.
Unanswered
Thanks for
questions.
telling us.
So, but Cory Selesky may know the answer to these. So let's see if we can help science.
So science
along.
doesn't know, but Cory does.
That's what I'm hoping.
Of course.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
The hanging ball at the back of your throat.
Your uvula.
What does it do, though?
Well, it helps me sing country music.
Negative.
Yeah, no, it really does.
No.
That, and you can flick it and make yourself puke, and you get to go home from school early.
Okay, so now I really should just pick these. There's no way we're going to go through all these.
I wonder if it has to do with gag reflex. If it has to do with the fact that foreign bodies going to the back of your throat.
Yeah, I've seen some people disprove that.
Have you?
People?
And their names are?
I mean, I don't want to name names. Come on now.
You are a gentleman.
But what,
First and foremost.
what Tony does with the banana after shift.
Oh, Christ. Scientists do not understand exactly what it does, but because it's largely unique to humans, they suspect that it plays a role in speech, possibly secreting enough saliva to lubricate the mouth. That's right, folks. You heard it here. Lubricate the mouth while speaking and swallowing. You may not need a uvula to speak English, but for speakers of languages such as English and Arabic,
Arabic
that use uvular consonants, a missing uvula may alter their speech.
I feel like that's false, but okay.
All right. I'm just going to rattle some of these off here, and you tell me stop if you want to go into detail. Hypnic jerks. Old people smell.
Stop.
Remember I told
Stop.
you about that, the 100 humans.
You did. A small study from 2012 confirmed that older people have a less intense scent, some call it musty or grassy, than young and middle-aged folk. It's not clear what causes this shift in odor as we get older.
Fuck yeah, it is.
The slow decay toward death?
They're dying from the inside out.
But
That
researchers...
smell is slowly starting to come to the skin. Have none of it. So for the
No one's met Nancy.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
For the listeners and viewers, yes. If all you need to do is meet Nancy, and that's all that explained it to me. That's why I knew the answer to that question. Was solely because of Nancy.
Do you have a specific Schnozzcast episode you want people to refer back to understand who Nancy is?
Well, I don't know that we've really went.
She's come up a couple times.
Yeah, but I think that was more of like an inside thing why she came out.
Nancy's insides?
They were coming out.
She's an elderly patron of Uncle Ray's.
We're going to say now
official.
was.
Yeah, I haven't seen her.
Lack of presence does not mean that you're dead.
Sometimes I don't see her in the bar, like physically, but if I look into the mirror at the bar,
see her.
she's standing behind me.
No, that's impossible. She does not cast a reflection.
Very vampire-like.
Researchers speculate that it might be due to a type of white blood cell supply that increases as we age. Nancy must be full of those white cells.
I think she must be just one big white cell.
All right. Science, still trying to explain. Different blood types. Random eyelid twitching. Yawning. Handedness.
I thought they already... no, that was hiccuping. Sorry.
The appendix.
Don't get me started on that.
Fingerprints. I don't even know what this is. The mesentery. We're going to move on.
All right.
You'll be amazed to know that only one... so stop me here again. I'm just going to read the headlines if you want to go into detail. You'll be amazed to know that only 1 in 10 cells in your body is actually human. You'll be amazed to know that your salivary glands produce 1 to 2 quarts of spit every day.
I've also seen video proof of that.
Have you?
Yeah.
You'll be amazed to know that you might be missing an arm muscle. We can actually do this. I did read this earlier.
Oh, thank God.
About 86% of us have a palmaris longus muscle running from the elbow to the palm. To test whether you have it, touch your pinky to your thumb, and you tighten your wrist muscles. And a tendon connected to the muscle will pop out of the center of your wrist below your palm. In humans, it helps wrist flexibility, but there's no consequence if you're born without one. Scientists aren't sure why some people have the muscle and others don't, but they think that it probably helped our primate ancestors grip and swing through trees. So if you don't have it,
Don't go swinging.
You're probably one of those ground monkeys just walking around.
If you don't have it, you're probably more evolved, wouldn't you say? Because evolution, if we don't use them anymore, then they slowly just dissipate.
Or you were just lazy.
No, I get why I never
Your
understood the
ancestors
monkey
were
bars.
very lazy.
What was the other one with people that have a hole like on the inside of their ear? There's that's also another evolutionary thing on the inside there. There's a small percent of humans that have a small little hole right here, and for a while they didn't know what it did, but they said it had to do with something. I don't know if it was like hearing or something like back in the day, but
storing food,
probably smelling.
No, or breathing underwater.
Right out of the old gills.
Also, the folks that have ears that are attached to their face or earlobes, which I always found weird. Some people have the ears.
I mean, aren't they?
fucking touch me.
They attached?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, mine are attached.
But see, I have a lobe.
I don't think mine are.
I have a lobe.
I'll be the judge of that.
Do you have a lobe, Corey?
Move your finger. Yeah, they're attached.
Yeah. No, he has a lobe.
No.
Yeah, he does. This is an earlobe.
No, I don't think he does.
Yeah, I mean,
but Bob's kind of go like this. There's no lobe. It kind of just goes right to his face.
But
like
I'm from here. I mean, I did clean my glasses today.
Corey, can you go like this? Yeah, there's a lobe there.
I could do that though.
No. No.
I kind of see what he's talking about.
There's no separation right here.
Well, that's true. Just from here, it looks like there's also no. Anyway,
Corey and I are evolving.
Apparently,
you're from a different era.
I am. Well, that's very true. You'll be amazed to know that.
Slams his laptop down shut.
That's it. I'm on it. Your heart can pump 1 million barrels of blood in a lifetime. Your skeleton contains a lot of water. You'll be amazed to know that the longest muscle in your body is named after a tailor.
Stop it right there.
The name comes from sartor, the Latin word for tailor. Tailors used to sit cross-legged on the floor when they pinned hems or cuffs, and that position required heavy use of the sartorius muscle, which ropes around your thigh from the pelvis to the shin bone.
I don't know why I'm expecting one of these to just like actually really be something like kind of funny and exciting.
It's Reader's Digest. I'm counting on you guys to make it funny.
Yeah, but once I hear it, I'm like, well, there goes all the funny.
You'll be amazed to know that you might be able to wiggle your ears. Nice call. Only 10 to 20% of us are able to do that. Yeah, you're a freak. Did you know that your skin glows in the dark?
What?
A decade ago, Japanese scientists used ultra-sensitive cameras to discover that humans actually give off light, sort of like fireflies. Chemical reactions within our cells transmit a glow, mostly from the forehead, cheeks, and neck. The glow is faintest late at night and brightest in late afternoon, possibly because of changes in metabolism.
So you need like a super camera to pick it up?
Super camera.
Of course.
Yeah, Best Buy.
Makes sense.
Generally get it like a 12 to 18 months interest-free financing for a super camera.
Put it on the old Amazon card.
Military
And lastly,
should have those.
you'll be amazed to know that the average human passes about 360 pounds of
Feces.
every year.
Only 350? That's disappointing.
360.
Oh, 360. That's still
Feel better? No.
I eat way more pounds of food than that.
Just a little under a pound a day.
I do have to read this thing, and we'll cut it. We'll cut off right here. Before you get grossed out, consider this medical wonder: a fecal transplant
Oh, yeah.
to help someone with an infection called Clostridium difficile, in which doctors take a healthy person's poop and put it into the sufferer's gastrointestinal tract, has a 90% cure rate.
Yeah, it is because of the like the probiotics and the good bacteria that's in a normal person's feces. They actually like clean it somehow, and then they put the specimen inside you, and your body then regenerates those good bacteria.
Amazing.
So this was a topic that came up on a local radio station, and they actually had people call in that had done it, but there was two camps. There was the people that just literally went online and looked it up on Google,
And took poop and just put it in their
and
ass.
people explained on Google how to do an in-home one.
Oh, that sounds like it's a recipe for
And then others were actually people that went to doctors.
people who've been fecally trained.
Well, but even I guess a
Trained
lot
in
of
the dark
doctors
fecal
even
arts.
said it's not. I think why the success rate is so high is because not too many people actually do it.
But there is a thing
Well-
where like the mindset of well, why can it be inside my body, but if I were to take it and put it in my mouth, I could get sick from it. And the idea is that apparently that area, almost like your stomach, how your stomach has a liner to prevent, how can my stomach have acid in it that can literally disintegrate food, but it's not going to burn through my stomach?
Yeah.
Well, it's got some kind of lining, some kind of
like a hefty bag.
protective fluid that it
Like a
puts
Ziploc.
out. Yeah. So the same concept with that is that your body can't gain any bacteria, virus, or anything like that from that end. But once it's out, if it were to go like face, nose, mouth, anything like that, then you could get very sick from it.
That's booze news for this week, ladies and gentlemen.
Or poos news.
That's where we ended.
I think we all ended that.
Yeah.
Always
Always good end with poop though.
So we're about to it's been about 40 minutes of science talk. So why don't we
Science.
bring it back down to
The basics.
the basics, the fireball basics.
Oh, okay.
You blinded me with science.
What's that from?
That's from a song.
Yes. There we go.
Corey didn't know.
That's why I was asking.
Doo, doo, doo.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Someone's got to keep the talk floating, gentlemen.
Yeah, so to keep the talk floating, whatever that means.
As most would put it.
Yeah. Apparently it's a Latin phrase. So Bob's pouring us shots of Fireball. He had found in one of his bags a hotel card for a room from the Embassy Suites that he has no idea at what point he went here or when he put it in his bag or why he stole it.
We'll just say misplaced it.
But we think it was probably years ago. Was that the donut incident?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Did you guys stay at an Embassy Suites?
Well,
I
because
do not recall.
I was thinking it's either from when it was one of the March Madness trips.
Yeah, that could have been
Who owned the chain that we stayed at in Toledo?
Toledo.
Yeah, for the OER
That's
concerts.
the Park Inn.
That's right. Okay, so that's not. But is that they're not
No. Embassy Suites generally they're just all Embassy Suites.
okay?
I mean, there's
so this could be a piece of history right here.
I feel like Memphis was an embassy suite.
I was thinking
He did not like to walk. He didn't like to walk in Memphis at that point.
I was thinking Nashville.
I didn't go to Nashville, so that could be the case then.
Could have been. Fascinating.
How many years ago was that?
I literally have no idea.
Can we carbon date it?
It was in a part of the bag where I don't normally put stuff under the
What part of the
just
bag?
An outside, like not even a zippered pocket. I didn't even know it was there until I was grabbing for the vape, and I'm like, "What is that?" I'm like, "There it is." And clearly, I must have stuck it there. And then
I hope you did.
the probably later that day, I'm like, "I need another key for my room because some sort of key thieves have burgled my key and." Help a brother out, please.
You guys make these keys so easy to lose.
Yeah.
So we know it's early Monday morning. Most people have to work.
Except for the people that are in the future.
But if you're a person in the future, tell us what happens.
Yep.
Tell us.
Do we survive?
Do we get past COVID-19?
Yep. Am I going to, at some point, develop the ability to wiggle my ears?
Is Bob going to be walking one day and his brittle bones going to fail him and he's going to they're going to snap like a twig and he's going to fall to the ground? We don't know.
When they do fail me and I perish in a pile of bones, will I be able to fulfill my lifelong dream of having my body put into a container and shot into deep space to be resurrected by aliens far in the future, so that I can rule them as their king?
Well, that's possible, more so for not the alien thing, but for my brother who...
Oh, I see. We've glossed over the alien thing in favor of your brother.
Oh, well, trust me, he would love to be shot into space and discovered by aliens.
All one and the same.
But he apparently could not afford to cryogenically freeze his entire body. So for the past 15 years, he's made it a point to let me know that they're going to sever his head off and cryogenically freeze that. So that's what a lot of his monies went into.
I think that's got to be your plan B, because what you're counting on is that in the future they'll be able to bring your brain back to life, and you'll be, the head in the jar, ruling with an iron jaw, apparently, not a fist.
Who wants to? I said I can't think. Well, they can. 100 years from now, they might be able to bring people back. I'm like, okay, so or they're just going to use you for science, and you are going to wake up in a fucking jar, floating in some liquid, and they're going to be poking and prodding you with things, and you're not going to be able to do or say anything, and you're just going to be in an immense amount of pain. That'll be great, won't it?
But some people think that the alternative to that is worse, so they'll take being prodded as the head in the jar. Right?
I'll pass.
But it depends on what your view of the afterlife is, and if you're an atheist who doesn't believe in God, and when you die, that's it. There's nothing. That scares a lot of people, which is why there's a thing called church. So people who are afraid of nothing, they don't want to be nothing. So some people like that would take being the head in the jar.
But he's
hundreds of years from now.
He's told me so many times. He's like, "Oh, there's a whole there's a bracelet and there's a whole list of things that he has to wear. That if I'm in a hospital, they know they have to call cryo, whatever the name of the company is, and they send a helicopter and they pick it up and all this." I'm like,
is he describing something that's going to happen?
Oh yeah.
How does he know it's going to happen that way?
Well, here's the thing, because he's paying all this money.
I feel like this
has he paid money already?
Oh, yeah, 'cause it's like through your health insurance or something like that. Like your life insurance, like you.
Oh. There's no cryo clause in your life insurance.
No, he bought something specific with this company.
Oh,
it's called it's called cryonics.
I feel like Greg's gonna be sadly disappointed.
No, I've known other people that full body want their body frozen, and you pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Exactly. I am one of those people. That's what I want.
You want that, and you pay it. Does it actually happen?
No, because you're at a hospital. You think nursing staff's going to know within the first few hours that your body needs to be frozen and flown somewhere?
Too late. And by the time they do get to you and they find that information out, they're like, he's been in the morgue for 3 hours. Sorry, can't do it.
Yeah, can't do it.
I guess we made $100,000 off him. No, okay.
Yeah, we'll shoot this rotting corpse into space. No problem. I mean, who's really going to know that we dropped the ball? We're going to wave goodbye.
That's it.
As you go out into the cosmos.
And we just never figure out the research that we're doing. And
That's
Right.
that's the part that I don't understand. You know, when you die in a local hospital,
Yeah.
let's say from old age, Cory and I especially know that. You know, it's like, nursing staff is going to do a lot of stuff. You're going to be there for several hours. The family's going to come up. They're going to see you. They're going to do all this crap. And you're not even going to get down to a fridge for several hours. And no one that I've ever heard of has been like, oh, this is a cryonics person. Call the helicopter.
as long as
But
I've
I
been
hope
there,
that
I've
someday
never
we'll-
seen that happen.
Tell you
either.
what, we're gonna hold that thought. We're gonna come right back to it. Let's do a quick shot here. So Nick, can you explain to the folks what we're doing and what one of our unique rituals is in the show?
So if you're in the future, and you're listening to us, and perhaps it's not very early on a Monday, or perhaps you're an alcoholic and it is early on a Monday,
midday on a Wednesday,
like us. Perhaps you're laid off from COVID-19, and like a very seedy bartender we know told us last night, I feel like this is a vacation. This isn't a layoff. This is a vacation. So I really had to set a clock to where I couldn't start drinking till noon because I was just getting drunk way too much all the time. And I really needed to dry out. So I had to tell myself I had to literally look at the clock and wait till noon to start drinking. That was my restraint. So if you're that person, or if you're riding around on the riding lawnmower, getting grass in your teeth and dodging bees, and you want to stop for a second, then pause us because you're probably listening to us on Spotify or iTunes or Apple Podcasts or any one of these different audio content apps.
I don't see you pushing any buttons over there.
But
like
if
the
you
Spotify button or the Mixcloud button,
If you were,
they don't have anything for Spotify.
God damn it!
It's all just the mainstream, like social media, like Facebook and YouTube.
Or you could be watching us on YouTube. Maybe YouTube's going on in your pocket, and you're still on that riding lawnmower, and you're not necessarily watching, but you can still hear us in great, amazing audio quality. If that's the case, rest assured, pause us. Just pause us because we're going to do a shot. It's okay. You can go inside.
Yeah.
You can take your green New Balances off, go to the kitchen, grab another summer shandy or a natty ice.
Hold on, wash your hands. You got dirt on your hands.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Don't forget to pet the dog.
Just because
the fucking dog could wait. You got a shot coming.
just because you took your green New Balances off, just don't forget about the grass that's still stuck to the hairs on your legs. You got to dust that off before you go into the house.
Exactly. That's true.
So when you do that and you wash your hands, grab something. An ice cold beverage because it's probably like 95 degrees outside. It's really, let's face it. It's only 11:30 in the morning, but it's hot.
Yeah, and you waited way too long. You could have done it at 9.
Mm-hmm.
But you're like, I'm going to fuck around for a little bit. I'm going to watch Frasier, a couple episodes of Frasier. I'm going to try to get some Fruit Loops, but I was out of milk.
You were feeling bad for yourself, saying technically I'm unemployed.
So I put some gin in my Fruit Loops, and here I am.
Nothing like a
drunkenly
good
mowing the
bowl of
lawn.
gin and Fruit Loops.
Technically I'm unemployed, and maybe I don't want to drink just by myself. Well, guess what? You're not anymore. You're drinking with the Schnozzcast. So pause it.
I'm going to shoot themselves now.
Long story short.
And
To be fair.
Bob.
Down one. There you go.
Oh, and we're back. I don't know who that deep voice individual was, but let's do a shot.
Here's to you.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
That long-winded story really makes the fireball warm, doesn't it?
It sure does. Everything you like.
Perhaps if you would try a little harder. Next time, don't leave it in your bag for 20 minutes.
Oh, next time I don't want to hear about it. It was my turn to buy it.
Oh, it's always your turn.
You couldn't have just said, I think you might be right. Hey, guys, here's the fireball I bought. Big thumbs up.
No.
Bing!
Negative.
Nope. Big production.
So,
Correct.
moving right along.
I do want, full body, cryogenically frozen,
Dry heat.
shot into deep space. Aliens will find me thousands of years from now,
Okay.
resurrect me, and want to know everything I can tell them about how primitive we were.
You think aliens are just going to randomly speak English?
No, but they'll be advanced enough to be able to speak to me in some sort of a rudimentary, crude language using hand signals and some sort of eyebrow manipulation.
They have eyebrows?
Yeah.
Okay. You got some really weird idea of what.
Well, let's say they live
like.
close to the sun and it's really hot there. You need the eyebrows to make sure that the alien sweat doesn't go down into your alien eyes.
Gotcha.
Many eyes, all on stalks.
They all have eyebrows on every eye?
Every eye.
How many eyes is that?
At least 5.
Ooh, went with an odd number. Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
One for every sense.
Interesting choice.
Look, these are my aliens, Corey. They're not yours.
I see that. I definitely see that.
So here's a another science question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to be cryogenically frozen and shot into space, would you thaw out?
No. You're the whole. It's a big tube that keeps me frozen.
How does it do that?
Through some technology that I'm sure the Cryonics Corporation has figured out, because otherwise...
Well, rest assured, Bob, you could be sent out in a giant pop can because space is 455 degrees below zero.
Yeah, the vacuum of space.
Very cold.
So you're saying pack a sweater?
What I'm saying is if he bumped into anything, he'd shatter into dust.
So it'd be no different than now, then.
Pretty much.
So the chances of reaching those aliens, slim to none?
So this is just in my head. I'd given no thoughts
I would hope so.
The fact that there's a Cryonics Corporation that is taking my money or taking Greg's money for such an endeavor and hadn't actually thought through how to get me into space and keep me there for thousands of years. That's disappointing.
So cryonics is the science of low-temperature freezing and storage of a human corpse or a severed head with the speculative hope that resurrection may be possible in the future. Cryonics is regarded with skepticism within the mainstream scientific community. But the fact of the matter is there are a lot of people with a lot of money that contribute to this company. As you can see.
All right, so for our... Is there? Oh, okay. Is it cryonics.org?
I'll tell you right now.
I just found a company that does it.
Yeah, this is
called Alcor.
Yeah, it is Alcor. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yep.
Spell that, please.
I think it's ALCOR.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's who Greg's through, and I have a couple friends that had talked about Alcor as well.
Okay.
Life Extension Foundation. So it says here.
Wow.
The Alcor Life Extension Foundation, the world leader in cryonics research and technology. They use ultra cold temperatures to preserve the human body with the intent of restoring good health with the technology when it becomes available to do so. Alcor is a nonprofit organization, located in Scottsdale, Arizona, funded since 1972.
See, that makes me feel a little bit better. They're out in the steaming hot temperature of Arizona trying to work out cryogenics.
Yeah, because like if you want to take a tour or whatever, all you do is you go out there and it's already so freaking hot. Once they walk you into a little cooler and you're like, oh, this is amazing. And they have you sold.
All right, so that's a negative for you. Like they should have tested it in Alaska?
Yes.
Perhaps in the North Pole?
Correct.
Okay.
So it says here, required cryopreservation funding minimums.
I saw that.
Before membership approval can be granted, Alcor requires the member to guarantee a certain level of funding, which will be paid to Alcor upon the legal death of the member to support comprehensive member standby. In addition to the cryopreservation, long-term care, and if becomes possible, resuscitation of the member.
Of the what?
See Cryopreservation Agreement, Section 1, Duties
member.
of the Member, Article 4. Current minimum funding levels are as follows.
Nothing says comedy like, let me read you about Article 4.
So it says the minimum cryopreservation funding is $200,000. Whole body cryopreservation.
What do I get for $200,000?
So
that's what I want to know.
$115,000 of it go to Patient Care Trust. $60,000 for cryopreservation. That's it. $60,000 is
See, is there anything that says, okay, what you're paying for is going to allow you to be shot into space where...
No, there's no space. None of this is space.
What is the point of freezing yourself if you can't be shot into space?
Why do you want to be shot into space? We have scientists down
Because
here.
I want to live forever.
We don't know
thanks to the aliens. Scientists on Earth can't make me live forever.
Well, not yet.
I'm not willing to wait for that. I want to go in a deep freeze to the point where they can.
But you might just go into another planet's orbit and be shot into it and decimated.
I'll take that chance.
Sounds like a good plan.
Unlike here in Arizona, where
space
you're just
is a big place.
You're going to be here for hundreds of years.
You know what space is filled with?
They know where you are.
Space.
More space.
You could go into a star and burn up.
You could point me in any direction where there's not a sun right there, and odds are I'm going to miss everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Odds are you're going to hit another sun.
Space is pretty big.
So $80,000 for the neurocriopreservation, 25 to the patient care trust, 32 cryopreservation, blah 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 blah. Surcharges.
Here we go.
$10,000 surcharge for cases outside the U.S. and Canada.
Sons of bitches. Wait, so
keeping it in house.
If you're in Puerto Rico, do you have to pay the surcharge if you're Puerto Rican?
That's in the U.S.
Which, by the way,
well, not according to some people.
To go a little before even talking about the funding of this, you do have to apply for this.
Oh yeah.
So
they
technically,
don't just have millions of places to put people. I mean, you're storing a body for hundreds of years.
Yeah, but this is brand new technology.
It's they've been around since '72.
Did you know they existed until today?
Yeah.
Did you know they did that? Cryonics.
Cryogenic. It's the name's pretty self-explanatory.
Here's my thing. How many people do they have that are frozen currently?
That I don't know. They can't tell you that.
I could tell you probably. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that's brilliant about it.
Yeah.
Those giant tanks that they have people in, that they have to keep putting,
Wait, I want to hear about the tanks.
But I'm sure that they have to keep putting,
Just so you guys, there's no people actually frozen anywhere.
No, you don't think so?
Dude, the biggest farce ever.
I was just going to say it's a perfect company because you could probably keep people in there for a while. And then when you need more room, you just incinerate the bodies and take more money and put other people.
Hold on,
that's exactly what it is. That's exactly
I want
what it
my
is.
relatives, my aunts, my.
Because I guarantee you sign a clause in that contract after your application gets accepted.
No one can visit your body.
You could. This is a private facility.
That. Nope.
No one's allowed into our facility because this is top of the line technology. And
what I would say is, I would say that there has to be some sort of bulletproof glass where the face would be that you can go that would be able to contain these temperatures, that you could go at any point in time and say, I want to see Cory, that he's still here. Oh, yep, there's Cory.
And guess whose application doesn't get accepted? It's that simple. That simple.
You're telling me that if you actually did this, that your mom would not want to come and visit you? She'd want to be there every week.
She'd go to a tank, and they'd just be like, yeah, Cory's in there.
I would hope that she wouldn't come visit me.
Somewhere in that mass of corpses floating in that tank, Cory's in there somewhere.
Yep, there he is. No, dude, that's the biggest. This is the biggest money collecting scam ever.
Why would you pay $200 grand plus, with no guarantee that your loved ones and your successors could come to visit you?
So Alcor here.
Make sure you're still okay. I would want my great grandchildren to come and visit me in the year.
By the way,
2348.
By the way, your great grandchildren aren't gonna give two fucks about you.
Okay, ready? Here you go, Bob.
That's beside the point.
Answer your question.
Yeah.
As of August 31st, 2019, Alcor has 1,731 members frozen.
That's a very small number.
Can I go see those people? Yeah, since the 70s.
Yes.
That's it? Less than 2,000 people?
And it says here, including 172 who have died and whose corpses have been subject to cryonic processes. 96 bodies only had their head preserved.
I get it. You didn't like, you thought your legs weren't attractive.
You were paunchy?
Yeah, a little bit, little junk in the trunk. I don't want to freeze that junk. I'm just going to go right for the brain. Right for the brain box.
I mean, they literally have attempted head transplants in the past couple years.
How'd that work out?
You understand. Jim Jones was able to get about half that amount of people to kill themselves on one day.
Yes, that's true.
But this cryogenics company has only been able to get 1,700 people, supposedly.
Corey, you are preaching to the choir. I'm highly skeptical of what I'm hearing.
Okay.
And as someone who would love to take advantage of their services, I find it deeply disturbing that with the lack of transparency around what they're doing.
Disregard over half.
Over half?
Because it was
over half of what?
It was over 900 people that killed themselves on that day in Jonestown. So Jim Jones himself got over half the amount of people to drink his Kool-Aid.
This says
and off themselves in one day.
How many people under the age of 22 do you think would even know the meaning behind drink the Kool-Aid?
Probably none.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but that is where that saying came from. So,
do you think that young people today are students of history the way that they should be?
God, no. Unfortunately,
it
it is a huge shame.
Yeah.
Because and from what I've heard and been told that the idea that even kids didn't know and still don't know today, like what 9/11 was and what occurred on 9/11. That fucking it blows my mind.
Yeah, that's mind-boggling to me.
I mean, and I understand like we were there, like we were all there and we were alive for it, but but still that I mean,
but you and I weren't alive
for the Civil War,
or Vietnam. But we know all about that.
Right?
Not, I would say all about that.
No, but we have a
very
knowledge of it,
understanding,
right?
Yeah.
And for kids to not have that, that's I don't know. It's to me that's a very sad point and sad moment in our society.
They say I don't know. I'm not sure who said it, but those who don't follow history are doomed to repeat it.
Correct. So either way, what's we don't have to go down that.
I may have to look that up. I would really like to know who said that. But we are sorry, Nick. I didn't mean to cut you off because I felt there was more tomfuckery about
cryogenics.
Nope. I'm just saying that they actually did surgery and did a human head transplant. A guy that was like a paraplegic in a wheelchair.
That actually worked.
From Russia.
Well, I mean.
So the quote was from George Santayana in 1860. Oh, sorry. He was a philosopher, essayist, poet, and novelist in Italy from 1863 to 1952, who said those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And it was paraphrased by Winston Churchill in a speech in 1948 to the House of Commons.
Well, thank you,
for
sir.
all you history buffs out there. And we are at 1:04.
Time for a break?
It is.
15 minutes, and we will be back.
We'll see you in 15.
Stabbing blindly. And we're back.
Oh, look at that.
Welcome back to the second half of episode 81.
It was like we never even left.
It's like I can't believe they came back.
Were people expecting us not to?
Maybe hoping.
Should we do that one episode?
Just never
go
come
on a
back?
break and just
go out on a high note.
Yeah, some people might be very pleased to discover. Do you think that people are actually kept the Facebook open and they kind of rolled over in their bed and they put their head in the pillow and they're like, these assholes aren't coming back, and then all of a sudden they hear, son of a bitch, they're back.
They did come back.
Oh, that was just my cat licking me awake.
Is that the sound that happens when your cat licks you awake? All right. So, if you don't have any objection, Corey, we could go into gentleman's agreement.
Oh, if that's what you'd like to do, we can definitely do that.
Cue the brand new graphic from Cory, subsequently Nick.
That I do like how I sent Nick one. I mean, it's along the same color scheme and all that, but
Yeah.
took one thing, made it something completely different.
You took our artistic license with it.
He did, which
I'm
isn't bad.
creative.
I'm not saying it's bad.
No,
That's you. You didn't give it to Nick just to redo what you did, right?
Cory had like a top hat silhouette and a mustache that said established in 2015 gentleman's agreement that he clearly took from someone else. And I remember I asked him, I said,
Correct.
I said, well, that's kind of cool. What was established in 2015? He's like, no, this is just all I could find at last minute. I'm like, so you've been putting this up and people are like, oh, wow, they've had this agreement for a while.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, no, that was just what I found. And when he put it up, it was like all pixelated. So I'm like,
the picture I sent you though was way clearer than the one I originally had, and unfortunately,
oh yeah, the one you originally had was like,
yeah, I don't know why it saved it like that, but
it was like in like original Nintendo like 64-bit.
yeah, it was very pixelated. But I fixed that today, and I'm like, oh sweet.
Look what I did. Now you can see we were established in 2015. Very clear.
But then I'm like, I do remember Nick saying that he would be able to put a little bit of spin on it. So
Yeah.
for the viewers out there, you just saw what the new Gentleman's Agreement logo is.
And if you're a purveyor of the executive version of the podcast and listening just to the audio, do yourself a favor and head out to YouTube or follow us on Facebook Live, and you can watch us live on Facebook.
Really starting to get willy-nilly with those social media terms and just throwing stuff out there.
Maybe I was late. I didn't see the gentleman's agreement thing, but maybe I got to go back on it.
It'll be on there.
Okay.
It'll be there. Okay, so I'm automatically out for this review session because with the kids' grad party and work and all that other shit, I didn't have a chance to watch my movie, which was Disaster Artist, given to me by Cory. So that'll be my to-do this week. However, I don't have any problem with after you guys give your review, if you want to do another round robin and somebody picks me, I'll take another one too, and I'll try and knock out 2 of them this week.
If you can knock out 2.
Do my best.
I wasn't given that option last week, but all right.
Well, you didn't ask for it either.
Okay. Well.
So, all right, which one are you fine, gentlemen? Let's go alphabetically in reverse order. Nick, you want to give your review for the movie you had to watch?
Is it alphabetically by last name?
Middle name.
By reverse order, because I think that would be Cory. But yeah, so I was given the night that Halloween.
The Halloween that almost wasn't.
Yes, the Halloween
Joe.
that almost wasn't, from Mr. Joseph Esquire Guido.
Middle name of Esquire. All right.
Yeah, it was weird that they did that.
Yep. It's
know.
a silent E, so it's a Squire.
Squire Guido.
But yeah, so as like most things with Joe, of course it was difficult to find. It was not on any kind of streaming platform. I actually had to find speaking of pixelated, very pixelated version of it on YouTube.
Was someone in the theater with their phone?
I was
just
gonna say
trying to,
That I don't know if it was a theater. It might have went straight to VHS.
Okay.
This was like a 40-minute movie. And basically it was not horrible. I feel like if it was crystal clear, it kind of reminded me, if you guys ever seen Mr. Boogedy.
Yeah.
Can't say that I have.
So
From A Nightmare Before Christmas?
no, not that.
Oh, I have seen that.
Mr. Boogedy, the movie from the 80s.
Oh, the negative.
Yeah, it's very, very kind of slapstick, kind of kitschy, Halloween comedy kind of thing. The only reason I saw it, in like 1986 or 88 or whenever it came out, I was very young, and I know my best friend and I watched it, and at the time it was something that terrified us. If you were to watch it now, you would laugh at it. It's just so retarded the way they do it, But slime coming down the walls and boogity boogity boo, like in some of the. That was supposed to be
scared me there.
How's that again?
Boogity boogity boo.
There.
And that was supposed to be scary, but I remember being terrified to watch it. But at the time, it was like groundbreaking technology. And so this, I don't even know. Because I don't understand how it was a 40-minute movie that I don't even understand. So it was the Halloween that almost wasn't.
That's that's the one.
I keep forgetting the name because it's so weird. But just to give you an idea, I'm sure Bob knows some of these actors.
Why would you assume that I do that?
Because some of the actors sound familiar to me, but I didn't really know them. So it says it's a short 1979 horror film.
Charlie Chaplin.
This actually says 30 minutes long. It felt way longer. It got a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. 95% of Google users like the movie. The Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Individual Achievement.
Of course.
Some of the actors were Judd Hirsch.
Oh, the great Judd Hirsch from Taxi, right?
Yep. Mariette Hartley, Henry Gibson, Jack Riley, John Schuch, Josip Ellick.
Ah, yes, Josip.
And Robert Fitch.
Oh, the late great Robert Fitch.
But yeah, it was very like what you would think of Halloween would be like in the 70s. So like, Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, the werewolf, the witch. And basically it was supposed to be that the witch kind of stole Halloween and didn't want to fly over the moon anymore. And Dracula had to change her mind. And it took place in Transylvania in a castle. And it was everything you would imagine it would be.
Why won't the witch
save Halloween and fly over the moon?
Very high hopes for this.
Yeah, but it was, always storming outside and, lightning coming through the windows in this castle. And it was entertaining. It was entertaining because it was like just old, and I just couldn't wrap my brain around how a bunch of people got together and were like, this is what we're going to do.
Well, but you're
30-minute movie.
Yeah, that is a very short movie. That's
that
kind of
doesn't
weird.
make any sense.
But you are a fan of Halloween, so I mean, at least
I love Halloween. Yeah,
it had that going for it.
Absolutely love Halloween. But yeah, to me, it just, I don't know in what avenue they made this for, like how it would gain money for anyone. I mean, I just don't understand it. And the flying in front of the moon towards the end did not disappoint.
Please tell me you could see the wires.
Almost.
Damn it!
I mean, it was kind of as if like you just kind of helped me up in this chair with a broom, and it didn't even make an attempt to make it look like a real moon. It was just this light in the background that's supposed to look. I mean, it was ridiculous, but I don't know. I don't even want to say like, yeah, I recommend you should go watch it because I don't, but it would be a cool movie to put on if you had it like where you could clearly watch it and not pixelated through YouTube. I mean, it looked like someone took a 1980s camcorder over the shoulder and then took an old VHS of the movie from 10 years prior, put it in, and poorly taped it, like with the camcorder. It was very grainy and hard to see. But I think if you had a clear version of the movie to play like on Halloween while you're having a Halloween party in the background, I think would be kind of cool.
I was going to say in a fitting enough time,
yeah,
around that Halloween time, a couple days before, whatever. It sounds like that would be a very fitting kind of kitschy Halloween movie to put on.
Yeah, it's like saying like, would you recommend the claymation Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer to someone? Well, no.
Around Christmas, you love to watch it.
When I was a kid, sure. But it's stupid, and I'm not going to sit down and be like, oh my God, this is on. This is so great. But if you love Christmas and it's around Christmas and you've never seen it, yeah, absolutely watch it.
Okay.
Not bad, sir.
Excellent. Cory, you're up.
I had the 9th installment of the Tarantino series of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
Holy fuck, let me tell you.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, if the cast alone doesn't do it for you, you've got.
You should say spoilers, right?
Well, yes,
It's far newer than the Halloween.
that is true.
So.
That is true.
Okay.
But you got Leonardo DiCaprio,
Yeah.
Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Emily Hirsch, Timothy Olyphant. I forgot Dakota Fanning was in it too. Luke Perry, Al Pacino.
Perry's last film.
Yes. So I mean, yeah, the list is endless. All the cameos in it, the main stars in it. It's. I almost want to say that like Tarantino obviously went all out for the casting on it, but it kind of also made me think at the same time, like, why did he do that for this movie? I know a lot of his other movies have great casts and big casts, but it almost seemed like this is kind of like this might be one of my final doings. But as far as plot wise and all that, the idea of going back to like 1970s Hollywood, Roman Polanski time, Sharon Tate, all living in the area, and DiCaprio playing kind of starting to be a washed up movie actor as Rick Dalton, and Brad Pitt playing his stuntman as Cliff Booth. I mean, from the very start, great movie. Caught your attention. Didn't really have any lulls or long Tarantino-esque kind of scenes that I could really tell, or see.
Yeah.
It started real quick and kept on moving from there, which again to me was different for Tarantino. Normally, it's got a 5-minute, 6-minute intro to the beginning of the movie,
right?
But he skipped over all that and got right into it. And then once the whole showing where Rick Dalton lived and his house at the this private drive at the end of the street, there was also another driveway next to that went up to this mansion, and when him and Brad Pitt, Cliff Booth pull up, and they see this car going past him, and he basically says, "Oh, that's Roman Polanski, this insanely famous director from the area, and I can't believe I'm his neighbor. Like I could be in one of his up and coming movies." So like right then and there, you're kind of like, okay, well, it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's talking Roman Polanski, Sharon Tate, is showing up. Margot Robbie's character, Sharon Tate. So they're going to tell the history of what occurred with Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski and all that, which it was going down that path. It even got into touching on Brad Pitt, Cliff Booth getting mixed up in Charles Manson's group and harem of girls that would come downtown. He ends up giving one of the hitchhikers a ride back to the I can't remember the name of the ranch.
Oh,
Dude Ranch.
Close.
Dude, that's my car ranch. No, I cannot remember the name of the ranch.
Oh, it's gonna
Hidden Valley.
Yes, Hidden Valley Ranch. Yes.
Wow.
But yeah, so he gets mixed up with that and ends up going to the ranch with one of the girls that was hitchhiking, and ends up it's clear that they do not like hippies and are not a fan of hippies, but obviously that's all that was living at the ranch with on Charlie Manson's ranch. Booth ends up beating the shit out of one of the guys that was there that stabbed his tire and let the air out of it, and kind of gets out of Dodge right in time before Tex gets back, and I assume was gonna kill Booth, but he gets out of Dodge. So you think it's going down that path of that actual history of what actually occurred there, and then when the people from the Manson crew break into DiCaprio's house, Dalton's house, you're like, okay, well, this is the part where the Hollywood actors get killed, and it took Tarantino did a Tarantino, and went completely the opposite direction, and the holy fuck, the fight scene in that house, phenomenal. That was, I mean, the pinnacle of the movie.
I remember just my jaw just dropped as you're watching this incredible, what had been a movie that was very sort of introspective and kind of reflective upon that time, and just sort of like a slice of like a day in the life of, in the 60s California, before things sort of turned into the 70s, to then just go full Tarantino with that.
And that's the thing. I mean, 3/4 of the movie was not your typical Tarantino film.
Yeah.
Really no violence except for Booth beating up the hippie at it was the Spawn Ranch, by the way.
Okay.
Beating up the hippie at the Spawn Ranch, and that was really the first bit of any violence you got out of it.
Right.
But then, like I say, once the Manson crew breaks into Dalton's house, and Booth had just happened to get back from a walk with his dog, which is one of the cutest pit bulls I've ever seen in my entire life. And he's ended up smoking that acid cigarette that he got.
Yeah.
And he's tripping a little bit.
A lot.
Well, yeah, so whole shit done. But once the intruders come in, he kind of snaps back too. And I think, to me, that was also one of the funniest moments of the movie, when he's engaging with them, and everything's just kind of funny to him still, that he doesn't fully realize yet of what's going on. And then something finally does click. He's like, oh, I need to kick the shit out of these people.
Yeah, it almost just seems to be pure instinct at that point.
Yeah, and then with the can of whatever he threw at the chick's face, and just completely split her face open. She falls down on the ground and starts flailing around. And then he grabs one of the other girls and just repeatedly bashes her head off of everything that he possibly could in the entire house. Yeah. And he almost took it to a point where you're like, okay, what else can he bash her face off?
Right.
And then, he ends up, it looks like he gets shot and goes down. So that I was kind of like, oh fuck, I don't like that. Booth was supposed to come through and all this. And prior to that as well too, how he calls the dog with his little click and whistle, and the dog just unleashes hell on everyone in the house.
Right.
And but then the one girl that ends up, she was the one he hit with the can, ends up getting up and kind of going, flailing her arms around and starts shooting when she gets up. A dog ends up attacking her as well. And then she ends up going through one of the sliding glass windows into the backyard, where Dalton is currently just lounging in the pool with his headphones on, listening to a recording that he can't hear what's going on in the house. And she ends up stumbling into the pool. And the flamethrower scene after that was absolutely superb. I won't wreck too much there, but
thank you.
So for the ninth Tarantino film, I know I skipped a couple because I'd already watched them.
Yeah, so now that you've made your way through his entire filmography, what are your thoughts overall?
I mean, everyone's got a little bit of something for someone, I think. I mean, there's not a specific one that I would be like, oh, that's my favorite out of all of them. They all kind of offer something different, and newer and fresh, and like with the idea of, like I said, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, that was nowhere near, like a Pulp Fiction, and how the story went back and forth, and then skipped forward in time, and then came back in time. Once Upon a Time was just, like you said, straight through from beginning to end.
Right.
So he definitely changes his style up for a lot of the stuff, and which I think is nice, and it like I said, because it keeps you guessing. Like, if it was always just that quote unquote Tarantino film, I think a lot of the movies would lose something.
Yeah.
But yeah, to keep you guessing on how that certain film's going to go, I mean, that's why he's a brilliant director. And speaking of having to search for stuff and purchase Gentleman's Agreement movies, I think I have everyone now beat, because I ended up buying Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because it was not streaming on anything. I know, I own it.
It doesn't do anything for me.
I know it wouldn't do anything for you. I'm saying I'm currently holding the record for it now.
Right, but this one shouldn't count in your favor, because you literally could have called me and said, "Hey."
Yeah, I forgot that you said that, and it was a last minute thing to watch. No, I shouldn't say last minute thing to watch, but
right,
last minute decision. And
so luckily you didn't go like, I just bought the Halloween that almost wasn't.
No, which
hopefully you're buying one that you will eventually go back to again and rewatch.
I did end up buying it on Amazon, but I think it's good addition to the movie collection. Not something I'm never going to be like, I don't feel like seeing that ever again.
Right.
I'm sure I will definitely go back and rewatch that one. So,
awesome, man.
When you guys get a chance, it is out on Blu-ray and DVD.
And so our journey comes to a close.
So the Tarantinos are done.
Yes. Yeah. For you anyway.
We'll have to reach out and email him and make sure he gets a new one out quick.
You're assuming that he doesn't listen to this podcast regularly?
Oh, we've talked.
All right. Well, I think I gave you that one.
Correct.
Which means I probably need to give him one then for next week.
And then I give you another one?
Well, how would we do that? No, he should give me one. But then who gives? Yeah. I guess I'm.
I mean, it doesn't really matter because you have to watch 2 anyways. So.
Right. I don't care either way. So
Cory gives Bob one. Bob gives me one.
Yeah.
I give Cory one.
Yeah.
All right.
You do that. Do it that way. Okay.
You want me to go?
You got the floor.
Go.
Unless you are still thinking about it.
Yeah. You guys go ahead because there's one I really want to wait for Krabby for.
Krabby's not here.
I know he's not here. That's why I'm saying if we could get him on an episode soon, I would definitely give that movie out then.
To me or to Krabby?
Either or. I know.
Save it for when he's here and give me something else.
I'm going back and forth here. So you guys give your agreements.
You want me to go, Nick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Nick Bader, for your assignment, have you seen Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Indiana Jones?
Yeah, the first one, the classic one.
If I did, it was like bits and pieces.
Bits and pieces, like when you were a kid.
Yes.
All right. Hold on. Have you seen Jaws?
Yes.
Have you seen Unforgiven?
Unforgiven. What's that?
Clint Eastwood.
No.
Who's the? Have you seen Shawshank Redemption?
No.
Have you seen Goodfellas?
No.
Wow. I could do really anything I wanted here.
Yeah, it's I'm a book with a bunch of blank pages. You can write whatever you want.
I want to write in every one of those goddamn pages, Nick.
I know for movies, this is the perfect situation.
All right, well, you tell me. Do you want? What are you looking for? You prefer like a drama, comedy?